came this moment for me when I realized my entire life had been orbiting around something that was never meant to be my center. Hi there, I'm Vanetta, and today I want to share about something that changed my life after I turned 50. I learned to decenter men. And the truth is, I didn't even realize how deeply I was doing it. Because when something is normalized, when it is baked into your upbringing, your relationships, your faith, your culture, you don't question it. You just live it. And this is a hard truth that I had to sit in. You see, I wasn't just loving men, I was centering them. My decisions, my emotions, my sense of worth, my future, all of it was somehow tied to whether a man chose me, stayed with me, validated me, or loved me the way I needed. And one day, I just asked myself, how did you get here? And it wasn't until I started doing my own inner work that I figured it out. You see, centering men didn't start with me. It started with the systems that women are raised in. Patriarchy, misogyny, culture, and faith conditioning that tell women directly and indirectly that our value is tied to men. Women learn in these systems that being chosen is the goal, that being married is the prize, and that being alone is failure. We learned this even in spaces that were supposed to nurture us, family, church, and community. And the message was always the same. A good woman is one who keeps a man. But for me, I didn't just learn this in these systems. I learned from women closer to me, my mother, my grandmothers, my aunties, women in my community, women who loved deeply, who sacrificed greatly, but who also modeled something for me that I didn't question at the time. They centered men, not because they were weak, not because they weren't educated, but because they too were conditioned. Women in the generations before us didn't have the choices that we have now. Those generations were financially dependent. Opportunities were limited. And security came through partnership. So they did what they had to do to survive. But in doing that, they passed down the idea that centering men was just what women do. And I learned it all too well. Because even though I had more freedom and more independence, I was still operating from that same blueprint. And when I add on top of that the fact that I had anxious attachment, it became clear to me why I'd leaned so hard into centering men. See, when you have anxious attachment, you don't just love, you cling, you overgive, you overthink, you overstay, and you make someone else the emotional center of your life because somewhere deep down, you don't feel safe within yourself. So you look to men for that safety. I did that. I made men responsible for my peace, my happiness, my validation. And that is a heavy burden to place on anyone, especially on someone who hasn't done their own inner work. And here's the truth that changed everything for me. Centering men is one of the most dangerous things we can do as women. Because the moment you make someone else your center, you move yourself out of position. You cancel your own autonomy. You silence your own voice. You override your own needs. You start making decisions based on them, not you. You shrink, you settle, you abandon yourself slowly, quietly, until one day you wake up and you don't even recognize who you are. I had that moment. And when I realized I had spent way too much of my life revolving around men who were not doing the work to meet me where I was, I had a choice. I could keep repeating the cycle or I could break it. And breaking it didn't look like me hating men. It didn't look like me becoming bitter. It looked like me making a decision to come home to myself. So I started prioritizing me and my peace and my healing and my joy and my purpose. Coming home to myself looked like me becoming the center of my own universe. And let me tell you something. That shift, it was uncomfortable at first. Because when you've been conditioned to focus outwardly, turning inward feels foreign. You start questioning yourself. Am I being selfish? Am I doing too much? What will people think? But I had to learn that choosing yourself is only selfish to people who really need you to stay small because they benefit. Choosing yourself isn't selfish. It is a necessity. So I started doing things differently. I stopped over-explaining myself. I stopped overextending myself. I stopped auditioning for love. And I started asking, what do I want? What feels aligned for me? What honors my peace? And if someone or something didn't align with that, I let it go. Even if I wanted it, even if it hurt to let go, I did. Because I finally understood. I would rather be whole and alone than partnered and disconnected from myself. And so what I want you to hear, especially if you feel like you're awakening to this later in life, it is never too late to decenter men. It is never too late to choose yourself. And it is never too late to rewrite your story. You see, my new narrative, it only began when I gave myself permission to become the main character in my own life. When I allowed myself to build a life that doesn't revolve around relationships. And when I allowed myself to experience love without losing myself. And that has been the greatest love story of my life. And the beautiful part is, when I finally learned to truly center myself, I attracted better love, more soul-aligned love. Because now I'm not choosing from a place of lack. I'm choosing from wholeness. And that wholeness made me determined to become the woman who was so deeply rooted in her own life that now when a man shows up, I'm not thinking, how do I keep him? I am asking, does he deserve me? Does he align with the life I've built for myself? This is the woman who awakened in me when I learned to go against my conditioning to decenter men. And what she taught me was that when you decenter men, you're not at all at risk of losing out on love. You lose confusion. You lose anxiety. You lose out on wondering if you are enough, but you don't lose love. Because love is something you already have within. And tapping into self-love means you gain clarity. You gain peace and confidence and self-trust. And you start choosing instead of chasing. And this changes everything. Because now I'm not looking for a man to complete me. I'm looking for a man who can meet me. And if he can't, I'm no longer afraid to walk away because my life is no longer in need of the validation this world told me that men provide. And so, if you are a woman who feels like I'm learning this so late, let me say to you clearly, you are not. You learned this the moment you were ready to receive it. Because there are some women who will go their entire lives never waking up to this. They are still centering men, still abandoning themselves, and still calling that love. But not you. You are here. You are aware and you are awakening. And yes, it took some time. But considering that we spent our entire lives conditioned by a system that never intended us to be free in the first place, we're right on time. So now, if this resonates with you, if this hits close to home for you, I want you to ask yourself, where in my life am I centering men instead of myself. And then I want you to gently begin to do the inner work to come back home to yourself. Now, do me a favor and share this video with another woman who needs this kind of support, because this kind of awakening, it changes everything. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.